Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly Pop Culture Wrap-Up. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. This is the weekly Pop Culture Wrap-Up. It's the show where I go over the week's pop culture news, mostly comic books and movies, but before we get into that, I gotta give a mighty hearty station to HC. Thank you so much, homie. You have been supporting, you've been going above and beyond. And if you want to join him in support, you can do so at patreon.com/PCP. And now on with the wrap-up. Let's start with comic book news, and that's kind of mostly what we've got. The House of Slaughter. So the smash hit, Something is Killing the Children, has led eventually, and we knew this was coming, right? We had to have, its own spin-off title, The House of Slaughter, which will be co-written by James Tynion IV, as well as Tate Brombal, who was the co-writer on Black Hammer, Barbalian, a fantastic Eisner-nominated series. Artwork by Werther Dell'Edera and Chris Sheehan. Chris Sheehan's been working recently on Autumnal, really great horrific type stuff. Miguel Muerto is still going to be doing the coloring. This is of course going to be telling the story of the House of Slaughter. So it's set in the days before the events of Something is Killing the Children. We're getting a tease of it right now in the current arc, but it will obviously be way more elaborated on in that series, so that's exciting. That starts from Boom Studios in October. From DC in October, we got a whole slew of announcements. Let's talk about Arkham City, The Order of the World, written by Dan Waters, with artwork by Danny and coloring by Dave Stewart. This is a dream team. This is fantastic. This is the creative team of Coffin Bound, but with Dave Stewart doing the colorings. And as much as I love Brad Simpson, Dave Stewart is a accomplished colorist in his own right. So I'm excited to see what this is going to look like. This is in continuity. After A-Day, Arkham was destroyed. A lot of inmates have taken over a sector of the city, something like that. But if it's from Dan Waters, and if it's from Danny, and it's them working together, this book is going to be freaking awesome. Wonder Woman celebrates 80 years of existence this October, coming up with an 80th anniversary 100-page super spectacular special. Kind of like the recent Green Arrow, you know, we've had tons of these already. In fact, they kind of already did one for Wonder Woman for $750, but whatever, let's get another one. Great creative teams have been announced, really top-notch creators on Wonder Woman. Then we got Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons, finally seeing print in October this year. This is the Kelly Sue DeConnick, Phil Jimenez DC Black Label book. This is going to be telling the history, or a alternate history, of the Amazons on Themyscira, and it being DC Black Label means no holds barred. We also have Nubia and the Amazons, a new miniseries debuting in October, written by Vita Ayala, Stephanie Williams, with artwork by Aletha Martinez. This is going to be focusing on Nubia, now recently crowned Queen of Themyscira, and it's going to be a miniseries. That's in October. Catwoman Lonely City is a DC Black Label 4-issue miniseries debuting in October. All of these are in October, by Cliff Chiang. Cliff Chiang, an amazing artist. You'll know him from the New 52 Wonder Woman run with Brian Azzarello, which is going to be comics revisited in August, so that's very exciting. And also, most recently, the artist on Paper Girls. I'm a big fan of Cliff Chiang. This is a DC Black Label, alternate Elseworlds type take, where Batman, Commissioner Gordon, the Joker, they all die one day, and then Selina Kyle winds up in prison. 10 years later, she shows up, and the city's way different, like Two-Face is the mayor, something like that. Now she has to, I don't know, I guess just become the Catwoman again. Sounds really exciting. I love Cliff Chiang's work, so I'm excited to check it out. Task Force Z debuts in October. This is from Matthew Rosenberg and Eddie Barrows, and it's like a zombie version of a Suicide Squad. This is in continuity. Some of the people from the aftermath of A-Day, a lot of those criminally insane inmates were killed, right? And so they have somehow been able to bring them back as zombies, and Red Hood is supposed to be this leader of this new, like, Suicide Squad type thing. It really seems interesting enough. Bane, Man-Bat, Bloom, Arkham Knight, those are some of the characters involved. And like I said, led by Red Hood. That seems pretty freaking cool. Matthew Rosenberg also is co-writing with James Tynion IV a book called DC vs. Vampires. This is going to be a 12-issue series with artwork by Otto Schmidt, and it's exactly what you think it is. It's the DC universe invaded by vampires. It's kind of like they say in the vein of Deceased, in the tradition of Deceased. So I'm kind of excited for that. I'm a vampire guy, so DC versus vampires, I mean, this is a lot. This is a lot, by the way, right? I thought DC was supposed to be slowing up their publication. Batman the Imposter is a 3-issue series debuting in October, written by Mattson Tomlin, who's a co-writer of the upcoming Batman movie. You know, the one with, what's his name? Can't remember his name, right? Robert Pattinson. So there you go. Andrea Sorrentino's doing the artwork. Jordi Belaire's doing the coloring. This is a different take on Batman. What if Batman was real? What if it was more grounded? Well, we've kind of seen that take many times, but with Andrea Sorrentino doing the artwork, I'm rather excited for that, I'll tell you. DC Horror Soul Plumber is a new one. It's written by the crew behind the last podcast on the left, and it's got artwork by John McCrae. It's about this failed seminary student who feels this life's purpose. He's got to figure it out. He goes to this like hotel presentation, and he finds out about this machine that can like pull souls from hell. So he tries to make a makeshift version of his own, and it just goes horribly wrong, right? That sounds interesting enough. I've checked out that podcast a couple of times, so sure, let's check it out. Refrigerator Full of Heads. That's right, Hill House Comics is back. This is the sequel to Basket Full of Heads. It's written by Joe Hill, of course, but we got a different artist on this one. It's Rio Ewers. I'm very excited. It's supposed to be set a few years after the events of Basket Full of Heads, which was a really great book, and this heralds the return of Hill House Comics, and so that's pretty freaking exciting. Hell Cop returns from Image. Now, Hell Cop was a Joe Casey 4-issue series back in the 90s from Image, and they're bringing it back. Brian Haberlin, who was a co-creator, I believe, of the character, and then the original artist, I think, Jaron Van Dyke, coming back for a series of Hell Cop, and Spawn's on a few covers, and it'd be cool if Spawn's in the actual thing. Speaking of Hell Cop, Hellboy, it's got a new book out. Hellboy Silver Lantern Club, Mike Mignola, Chris Robertson, Christopher Mitten, and Ben Stenbeck. I love it when these artists work with these writers in this way, and I'm excited for more Hellboy, and this is kind of like almost a refocused in, longer form type story. I think it's meant to be like a miniseries that goes for several issues. King of Spies is a new one debuting from Mark Millar and Netflix and Image Comics. It's a graphic novel. No artist is attached to it yet, but it's like about the best spy in the world finding out that he's about to die, and so he goes, you know what, before I go, I'm going to fix the world. So what if James Bond realized he only had 6 months left to live and decided to save the world? I don't know. That's interesting. Chariot, that comic book from AWA written by Brian Hill, fantastic book. It's going to be a movie, and they got Joseph Kosinski tied in to direct the film, and this is kind of a big deal because as much as I'm not necessarily looking forward to Top Gun Maverick, this is the director of Top Gun Maverick, so this would be his next film setup. That's pretty cool. This movie could be big, Top Gun, you know, and it could lead into this movie being bigger. I think it's cool. It's a great concept. It's about this car that's kind of possessed by a ghost of this woman, and this dude finds the car, and it's kind of got this like super sexy Miami Vice Knight Rider type vibe to it that I think will really translate to film impeccably. So I'm very excited about that. So that's what we got for you this week. What's coming up here at PCP tonight? Dylan's Horror Show. Join us over at Dylan's Horror Show, link in the description below, to check out a werewolf double feature. It starts at 6 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be talking about Bad Moon. We're going to be talking about Silver Bullet. Super excited for that. And tomorrow night, Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, Rockin Robbie live right here on Pop Culture Philosophers. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support, for the love, for the stations. We really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com. Merch and everything, links in the description. Thank you so much for rocking with us. Keep on living, keep on reading, keep on learning, keep on loving, and keep on station.